Okay.
Or maybe why
Okay, hold on.
you.
Are we live, Lakshmikant?
I think we are. Yeah, that's what I can see.
Lakshmikant, are you there?
Yes, yeah. It's almost done. Just 2 minutes. 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
Ruhan, maybe you should take out that virtual background. We can't, sometimes your head is disappearing.
Is my blur background okay?
Yeah.
Cool.
Kashvi, can you put your camera a little down?
We are already in live. Yeah, just.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to this younger youth group webinar. We come every other Friday at 8:30. Today, due to some technical glitches, we could not make it. Sorry about that, those who have been waiting for it. But our kids, as usual, they're excited. They are always passionate about this webinar. The only thing that drives them together is maybe the friendship that they have been together this many days. We have started it. It's almost 2 years, going to be 3 years now soon. So it's been a long journey. And we do our regular prep session every Tuesday and Thursday, and then we go live every alternate Fridays. So if you are interested, please go to our website, LetUsTalkIt.com/youth, and register your kids. And today, although we are late, but we will definitely know what the topic is. It's where to go when we decide when we think about an amusement park or zoo. Both are attractions for kids, especially. There are rides, games, animals, entertainment, family get together, and so many things. But which ones do stand out to our kids? Why? And how they can relate to their personal lives. So with all that, if you can join in Zoom and motivate our kids, ask your kid to ask them questions, because they did their little research and their interaction, it would be an awesome evening. So with that, we begin our today's webinar, and the moderator for the webinar would be Ishan. Ishan, over to you. All the best, kids.
My name is Ishan, and today the topic is, would you rather go to an amusement park or a zoo? Some people will be talking about pros and cons, and others will be talking about why they would want to go. The way this is set up is, first we'll meet our panelists, then we'll look at our presentations, then the conclusion, and we'll end it with the interactions and Q&A. Let's meet our panelists.
Hello, my name is Ruhan Kari, and I I'm in 3rd grade at Morse Elementary School. I'm 8 years old. Some of my hobbies include playing soccer and math, and I'll be talking about the pros and cons of amusement parks and zoos.
Hi everyone, my name is Advik Madhukar. I live in Troy, Michigan. I go to 6th grade at Baker Middle School. My hobbies are dancing, singing, and playing the piano. Today, I will be talking about amusement parks, the pros and cons. I will also be talking about the pros and cons of zoos. Hope you enjoy.
Hi everyone, my name is Arushi, and today I'll be talking about why I want to go to zoos and not amusement parks.
Hi everyone, my name is Ananya and I'm 10 years old. I live in Columbus, Ohio, and some of my hobbies include singing, dancing, and doing art. Today I'll be talking about pros and cons for amusement parks and pros and cons for zoos. I will also be talking about my experience in both of them.
Hello, hello everybody. My name is Kriti Rachakunda, and today I will be talking about why I prefer amusement parks over zoos. Hi, my name is Ishan, and today I'm going to be talking about why I like amusement parks more than zoos.
Hi, my name is Kashvi, and some of my hobbies are singing, drawing, and doing gymnastics. And I will be talking about zoos, my experience in zoos, and my connection.
Now look at our presentations. First, we have Advik.
Hello everyone, it's Advik again. Amusement parks are an amazing place for people to go for fun. There are rides, arcades, candy, and everything that makes a person happy. You have so many choices. You can choose what you ride, bring friends, and have the most fun a person can have. First, if someone is scared of falling, and all of us are, we can reassure ourselves that these rides are perfectly safe. The designers would have tested it more than 5,000 times, testing the weight, the speed, the buckle, and much more. I personally love amusement parks because of all the fun I mentioned above. One time, I even went on the fastest roller coaster in the world. This is why I think amusement parks are amazing. Next. Here are a bunch of pictures I took at a local fair. Next. Now, let's talk about zoos. Zoos are also fun to go. There's food, fun, and wildlife. But did you ever wonder how the animals feel? How would you feel if you were put in a cage and displayed to random people? Zoos are basically a prison for animals. Sometimes it even gets boring. You can't even see any unfair behavior in amusement parks. Most people come to the zoo for pictures and a chance to look at wildlife. You're probably saying, hey, you don't get a chance to see all these creatures everywhere. Well, I have a counter. You could just go to their habitat. Why do we need to take them from their lives and put them in a cage? Every time I went to a zoo, I would look around and take pictures and have fun. But then I started feeling bad for the animals. People would go up to the reinforced glass and taunt animals, banging on the glass to show how powerless they are to stop you. This is why I think amusement parks are way better than zoos. Thank you so much.
I agree that zoos are better for amusement parks in different reasons, and I also feel like amusement parks are more fun. And next we have Ananya.
Okay, I'll be talking about amusement parks, zoos, and my experience in them, and some pros and cons. So, I've been to different amusement parks before, and one of them that I'll never forget is a amusement park called Cedar Point. So Cedar Point is in Sandusky, Ohio, and like I even have a stuffed animal from there. It's a prize from there. So that's like a little souvenir kind of thing from there.
You're muted. You just got muted.
No, Ananya left.
She was lagging a bit.
You can go on to the next slide and we can come back.
Yeah. We're having some technical difficulties. Please bear with us.
Yeah, Ananya can join a little later. We can go to the next person. She can come and finish it off.
Ishan, we are unable to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, go on.
Yes, we can. So the reason I would go to an amusement park instead of a zoo is because in a zoo, you only go around looking at stuff and looking at wildlife and then taking pictures. And then for an amusement park, you get to actually go on rides. You get to actually feel the fun. Because in a zoo, you're basically walking around. But in an amusement park, you can get on a roller coaster. You can go on a Ferris wheel and other stuff like that. My experience in a amusement park is pretty good. Every year we have this thing called a Liberty Fest, which I go to, where they have these booths where you play games, and they've got some fun rides. They also have haunted houses and a mirror maze. That's why I like zoos more than amusement parks more than zoos. Next, we have Kriti.
Hello, everybody. As I said earlier, my name is Kriti, and I will be talking about why I like amusement parks better than zoos. So I agree with Advik and Ishan, how they said that you kind of just walk around in a zoo. And the second thing is that we might enjoy zoos, but do the animals really enjoy the zoos? That's a big question. So those are one of the things. And then another thing is that in amusement parks, like when you picture an amusement park, you picture happy kids on like a ride or something where they're just like screaming with their arms up with their friends, talking about how good it is, and like shivering with all the fun and like packed up with all the fun. But when you think of a zoo, you think of people walking around looking at animals. I'm not denying the fact that it may be fun at times, but it's just that I enjoy amusement parks better. And if you don't know me, then I am the type of person who is the screaming type. I'm not the person who would go around and just look at animals. I enjoy amusement parks a little better than zoos. So I think that would be a better place to go. And you would also help the animals and not kind of torture them, because as Advik said, you wouldn't feel good if you were held captive in a cage and then people were just looking at you, banging on your cage, showing how powerless you were. So that's helping animals. And then one more thing is amusement parks, they just seem fun. And my experience of amusement parks is a pretty interesting one. So if you think of little kids going on like these outrageously high rides, then I was the type of person who was completely fine with it, and I just wanted to go on every single ride, especially the high ones. And somebody who came with me to the amusement park was really scared, so I had to convince them. And so we went on the Ferris wheel the first time, and they were just nicely going on the Ferris wheel, kind of like turning it around like peacefully, and it was just so fun. And it doesn't, just because an amusement park is something you picture with kids just screaming their lungs out, doesn't mean it always has to be kids screaming their lungs out. It can be two people peacefully sitting on a Ferris wheel enjoying the cold breeze, and it can be like that too. So I think I'd enjoy amusement parks better than zoos, and I would love to hear the other people's opinions.
Kriti, I agree with you because I really like amusement parks. It's really fun, even going on the high rides. Ananya just joined, so we're gonna go back to her slide.
Okay.
I'm sorry for the thing. I randomly got kicked out. I don't know how that happened. I was just talking and I didn't realize that. But yeah, so now I'll be quickly talking about my experiences in a amusement park and some pros and cons of an amusement park. So I have gone to many amusement parks before, but one of them that I'll never forget is Cedar Point. Cedar Point is an amusement park in Sandusky, Ohio, and it's like a water park and the real amusement park. So I even have a little stuffed animal prize from there. So that's like a souvenir. I had a lot of fun on all the rides, and I like amusement parks because they have a lot of fun rides, games, prizes, and other really fun things. A lot of other things to enjoy. And some pros and cons is that pros are like they're really fun, you get to get prizes, and they're really enjoyable. But there are still some cons. Some cons are like it's like an unnatural environment. So like you kind of you're not naturally playing the stuff. Like all the equipment's out of like high technology stuff, and yeah, those are now filling a lot of amusement parks. So they're not always really amazing, and yeah. And so, yeah, those are some things. So it's like all artificial stuff, and also they're really expensive. I actually found out that actually there are some amusement parks that actually you have to spend $91 a day on just one person. So that's something I found like really interesting. Like you have to spend a lot of money on that. So now let's look at zoos. So I have also been to many zoos before, but one of them is the one where I live, the Columbus Zoo. So in the Columbus Zoo, there's this little train that goes through the zoo, which I went on it and I really enjoyed. There were more activities there, like the train and obviously animals. I like them because I can learn new things about animals, see them, and I have fun. Now to the pros and cons. So the pros are that we can see different animals. Like zoos can raise awareness on like environmental problems, and they help researchers collect more research about the animals, so we can also learn more about them. But there are still more pros, but there are also some cons. Some cons are that animals are trapped in like they're not real environment. They're not in the wild. They're kind of trapped in a little place. And some animals get health problems. Animals have quite limited space too. And also some zoos only exist for like maximizing their profit and only for getting more money. It's not really for them to learn about animals or to really get the animals to have some kind of benefit. So as you can see, just as how many pros there are, there's also cons. I prefer amusement parks because there's no harm going on really there to any real humans or any living being there. And you can have fun while everybody else can have fun, and it's all a really good place. So that's why I prefer amusement parks over zoos. And again, like those animals are trapped there, and there's some pretty bad things about zoos that I do not really like. So yeah, I like amusement parks better than zoos. Thank you.
I agree that amusement parks are better than zoos for some of the same reasons and some of the different reasons. Next we have Ruhan's slide.
Whose slide is this? I don't think that's anyone's slide.
I'm pretty sure it's Ruhan's.
No, that's not my slide.
Arushi, is that your slide?
No, mine's the slide after that.
We don't know whose slide this is, so we'll just skip it and go to Arushi's slide.
So I like zoos better because we can see cool and different animals' habitat, be it inside or outside habitat. This is a place where we can go from school and we can go as a family outing too. It is always fun to visit the zoo with friends as we can talk about the animals and see their live actions. Sometimes we see monkeys taking away bananas or a giraffe picking a carrot from the visitor's hand. As a learning experience, zoo is the best place to learn about known and unknown animals, few endangered and exotic ones too. Added bonus in the zoo is that there are rides like a carousel and small rides. One example is shown in the picture above. This time, out of excitement, I fell off the carousel, but with friends and family, everything becomes an interesting experience. The best part is that the tickets are not as expensive as the amusement parks. One reason for not liking the amusement park is that I'm afraid of heights and super speed rides, which look like they go out of space in no time. Another reason for not liking the amusement park is the long line and wait time. Zoos also educate the public about animals, helps in scientific research, and saves species from extinction and other animals. It also helps as taking animals who are extinct, keeping them, letting them live and grow a happy life, and then letting them out.
That was really good. Some of that I agreed with and some of them not. And zoos are a really good place to learn. Next, we have Kashfi.
I'm going to be talking about why I like zoos better than amusement parks. First is my experience and why I like it. I like it because when you go in an amusement park, you really just hear kids screaming and like you hear the sound, you hear like music and sometimes announcements. But in a zoo, you can hear animals eat, you can hear animals, different types of animal voices you've never heard. Like you only hear squirrels in your backyard, but you can hear more outside in a zoo. And another reason is when you see an amusement park, you're just seeing kids running around and just a little part of the rides because the kids are covering most of the rides in front of you. It's so packed. But in a zoo, you can see animals communicating, eating, or running or running. Another thing is that you, in an amusement park, you're not gonna really feel anything. But in a zoo, some people let you feel things. Like in one zoo, I tried to feel a stingray. And they also make it safe for you because they removed the stingray's part that stings. When a zoo is a safe. My experience is that like a zoo is a safe place for animals. Like humans are cutting down trees, and then you can take the animals from there and you can put them in zoos. And it's instead of going deep in a jungle where like animals get frightened, may attack you, or may run away from there, and you can't get knowledge or you can't study the animals. You can go to a zoo where they have a cage around it where they won't attack you or they won't run away from you. My connection is that when I recently went to zoo in my summer camp for a field trip. Over there you can see different animals, as I said before, like ostriches and other things. I also saw a flamingo, and there are kind of like sometimes like little screens where you can just like learn many things about the animals that you won't see in a book. And sometimes when I look in a book, I just and see an animal, I really just want to go and look at that animal. In the picture you see I put panda bears. And you wouldn't see a panda bear running out in your backyard. So I like zoos better than amusement parks because you can see odd animals. Thank you.
I agree that zoos are a safe place for animals, and you could see them, and it's fascinating. And next we have Ritvika.
Yeah, Sean, can you go back to the slide?
Oh yeah, sure.
Hi everyone, since I didn't have my intro towards the beginning, I'll be explaining now. My name is Ritvika Kari and I'm a 6th grader from Bowling Park Middle School here in Troy, Michigan. Some of my hobbies include playing the flute and sports. If you were asked the question that you would get a free ticket to go to the zoo or an amusement park, where would you choose to go? Personally, I think both are amazing and very fun, but I would mostly prefer the zoo because there are various different knowledge which you can learn, and I will be talking about both sides in today's webinar.
Okay, next we'll go to Ritvika's presentation slide.
Yep. So as you guys can see, today we'll be covering both on zoos and amusement parks. And I'll be talking about the pros and cons and my personal experiences for both. So let's start off with zoos. So some of the pros for zoos is that you could experience some wildlife instead of having fun on machines. And even when experiencing this wildlife, you get to you just feel like some sort of happiness which you have never felt before because you're experiencing new animals, unlike squirrels and different animals that are around our neighborhoods. Also in zoos, there are there's so much information that you can learn about new animals and their habitats. Because mostly we don't get to see these animals out there in the wild. So if we see it in the zoo, we can learn so much things about them which we haven't heard before. Speaking about habitats, there are some disadvantages, such as the animals getting pushed out of their natural habitat, which basically isolates the animals from what they're doing. But there is a resolution that forest researchers are working on. They're actually moving zoos to where animal habitats are so that we could look at them without really, isolating them in a cage. So we can see them out in the wild instead of seeing them in a cage. And also one main experience I had with this is the Wisconsin Zoo. So this comes back to my 4th grade writing, which I had to write about lions. And it was kind of tricky thinking about the different habitats and what prey they eat and so on. But it brought me back to the zoo, which I went to, and the person who talks about the animals, she actually explained about the lions a lot and their prey and their habitats, which actually helped me get a good grade in my writing in 4th grade. So there are some advantages for school if you were to go to zoos. And coming to amusement parks, I'm not coming to the side which is saying I absolutely hate amusement parks. They're actually pretty nice. Mainly because you get to spend time with your family, and there's a lot of excitement, because I know that some families, they're not able to spend time with their parents because they're too busy. But once you come to amusement parks, we can spend more time with them, and it kind of feels like you're getting out of your house and finally feeling some fresh air, which is actually pretty nice. I went to 2 amusement parks actually in Wisconsin. I went to the Kalahari Water Park, where there was different water rides which you could go to, and it was really exciting to experience those fun rides. And also I went to Wisconsin Dells, where there were many different rides normally, and me and my family got to experience many of them. The now going on to the cons. First of all, it's very expensive with all the rides, and these amusement parks are built for businesses most of the time. And it's not, some like amusement parks are actually pretty fun, but other ones they're basically doing it all for money. So I would say like we have to look into that when going into an amusement park. And also it's not natural, and it's built out of metal, like all the rides are all built out of metal and screws. So it could break anytime. We don't know because it might not be that stable, some rides. So that's some of the disadvantages. My personal experience, I would say that there's various things to do, as other panelists explained, but it doesn't really teach us any valuable lessons that I explained before with the writing. But I would say we could work on adding more information where they could teach us how they build the structure of the rides, so that we could learn about more of manufacturing all these different rides. Thank you, and I hope you like my slide.
I totally agree with you. And next, we have Ruhan, who doesn't have a slide right now, but next we have him.
Hello everyone, my name is Ruhan Kari, and as I said before, I'll be talking about the pros and cons about amusement parks and zoos. Let's start off with amusement parks. The pros about amusement parks is like all the fun and like the food and all that stuff, and the rides and all that stuff. But let's get to the cons. The cons are like not that cool because there's some cool bad things about amusement parks and good things. But the bad things are that just like my sister said, they're using it for businesses. So like they're just using it for money, and like they're like using it for money, and so then they'll get more money. My video's off.
Just turn it back on.
It's not enabling me to.
What?
That's okay. Continue, Rohan. Or if you can change to Ritvika's camera, if possible, or else you can continue.
I can continue. So, speaking of cons, I was like searching on my iPad for a trip for like so one day I was searching on my iPad a trip to go to an amusement park, and I saw this cool amusement park, but I didn't know the name. But I checked like how many dollars it was per person, and I saw it was $100, and I was shocked. And like, so that's one of the cons for amusement parks. And let's get to zoos. The pros on zoos is that we get to see new animals, learn about them. And recently I had a test about animals in 3rd grade, and I was learning about tigers. And one day we went to the zoo and I saw tigers, and I learned all their features, their camouflaging and all that stuff. And when I was doing my presentation, I like passed. And another cool thing about zoos is that you can meet new creatures and also at the same time have fun with your family. The cons and I have one personal experience. So once we were going to a zoo, and we were in the food section, and I got some food, and then we went to the giraffes. Yeah, we went to the giraffes, and this might be funny, but the giraffe, it sticked his head out of the cage and it licked my pizza, and so I had to throw it away. And then I got ice cream, and then it licked it again, so I couldn't get anything to eat. And another con and like let's get to the cons of zoos. The cons of zoos is like, just like everyone else said, like because animals are getting like pushed away from their habitats, and their people are pushing them for businesses into the cages in the zoos, and like when they get pushed into their like in their cages, and they get pushed into cages, and some might even die, and that's how like animal population goes down. And speaking of animal population, there's this zoo called Detroit Zoo. So I searched up DetroitZoo.com, and like when I went there was this like animal cam thing, and I saw like I went to the penguins, but like it was not like in a habitat pushed into a cage. It was like in its own habitat, like in the snow place, and like it's kind of cool where like animals don't get pushed into their cages, where they can just stay where they are and not like get crowded by people, and you can look at the animals virtual without like reducing the animals population. Thank you. Bye.
I agree with the you, Ruhan, but and also the thing about animals being caged up is really true. And now that we're done, now let's jump into the interactions and Q&A.
Wait, how about the conclusion?
I technically just did that.
Okay.
Does anyone have a question?
I have a comment, sort of, for the zoos who wanted zoos. For one on my slide, I had a picture of me and my friends just standing there like at the amusement park, since we got to go on nothing. And you can see at the back there's an OMG thing that's going all the way at least 15 feet tall.
So what's your, can you tell me like your question for animals?
No, it was a comment. Oh, for the thing is that it for how Ruan said, for the Detroit Zoo, there is how with penguins. There also with butterflies, and the butterfly picture that was on my slide was one of the pictures my sister took.
Nice.
That's cool. I have a question. So for whichever side you took, like zoos or amusement parks, or if you're still in the middle, like why do you think each of them are important or anything like that? Like why?
Amusement parks would be important because those businesses would get no money, and for us, we wouldn't have enough fun in our life.
I think zoos are important so people can learn more about animals, and so endangered animals can be taken care of and then released back.
Yeah, adding on to Arushi, I also agree with her. And also because of COVID, we're all being like isolated in our homes. But now if we were to go to a zoo, we can experience like new organisms, which we haven't seen before in a long time, and just like see different species instead of just humans around. So every time I go to a zoo, it always feels like really nice to see some different living species, unlike us humans.
Yeah, I liked I'm kind of like in the middle of both of them. I like the amusement park side, and I also like the zoo side. So like I'm between. Again, like yeah, zoos are important for like the animals, and even it's really important to researchers so they could research and learn more about the animals, and maybe like put like little sensors or something on them so then they can like track them, and like it really helps them too. So that's another reason. So that they can conduct more research, then they can learn more, and then we can learn more from that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ananya. It's just that if the researchers are so desperate to learn about the animals, they should provide information about the animals in the zoos, and if researchers really want to go to zoos and like see animals, they should build zoos in like the natural habitat, at least like something like that where they don't need to be like tortured.
Yeah, as I said before, they're actually working on it. I saw in an article about researchers. They're actually going into different forests and trying to find ways they can move the zoos there. Also, when we were talking about giving information about animals in the zoos, actually there are different websites related to these zoos. Let's suppose Detroit Zoo, they have a separate website where they have different webcams which are for free, which you can look into and see their behaviors. And they also have like specific descriptions, recent descriptions about like how the animals are going and more new information about the animals.
Yeah, and also, oh yeah, you can go on.
You can go first. Ananya, you can go first.
Okay. So yeah, I also think like amusement parks are also pretty important because like to them who are like creating the amusement park, they would have no money, and yeah. But I kind of feel more like
Technically, the people who are creating them are architects, so architects can just do a building instead of an amusement park.
and I feel like zoos could be like more important because like those animals, and yeah, and even like they can like those animals would get scared if those like people, they have to be like trained and stuff, so yeah, or they'll get scared and like run away or something like that, the animals. So that's why it's like if they're in the zoo and they're like calm, they have like a space to live, then when they're calm, then the trained people can come slowly, and then yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you chose amusement park, then what ride would you go on? And if you chose a zoo, then what animal would you rather like to see for a longer time than the rest of them?
For me, at this the fair that I go to like every year, it's called Liberty Fest. There's one thing I like to go on them the most. It's called the Wacky Shack. It's sort of like a house with all this wacky stuff. And then if I went to any other place, like Disney World or Cedar Point, it would be roller coasters.
That sounds fun.
For zoos, the animal which I would choose would be a cheetah. Because I think it would be especially really cool to see them actually running out in the wild. Because I've always wanted to see how fast a cheetah could actually go instead of just looking at the pure information. So that would be one.
Yeah, it would be much nicer to the animals if you could at least put like a little glass or something like to the trees or something where they don't need to be like in little cages that are like hundreds of times smaller than their habitats.
I would go to the bird
glass. Most zoos actually have glass.
I would rather go to the bird area because they have beautiful flowers. Even have they threw in a little bit of butterflies, even though it wasn't their stable. But they were really cool, and you can even see parrots there. And does the Rainforest Cafe count? Because people have like loved the rainforest that they even made a cafe for it.
Of course,
that's cool.
It's in the zoo.
I've been to this place where this person's like room, I guess, they're so obsessed with tree houses that they made their entire room a tree house. Like their bed is like on like a tree. And that sounds very TV-ish, but I've actually seen it before. So yes.
I have a quick question for all the people who chose amusement parks. What do you get out of going to amusement parks?
Fun.
Fun, happiness, excitement, everything that people visualize when thinking of an amusement park.
Candy, good food. They give you
Dreaming.
I'm
they
saying
give you candy, chocolate.
Elephant ears.
I'm
They
saying
give you not at zoos.
I'm saying
They don't give you cotton candy.
What do you guys get out of amusement parks that's informational?
What do you get out of zoos that's not information?
What information?
Exactly. What do you get out of zoos that's not informational?
What do you get out of zoos that's interesting?
Interesting meaning you get to see actual
Okay,
animals.
what do you get out of zoos that is not educational?
Not educational, you also get fun, as you guys said. You guys can feed animals and
Oh yeah, that's so much fun than riding in a roller coaster at like super fast speed.
okay, first of all, tell me what information.
No.
No,
This is
It may not be informative, but at least it's not
you
holding
get information from
animals captive like cruel people.
I'm asking only one thing, okay? What information do you guys get out of amusement parks?
You get information. Every ride you get on, you get the information of the ride, so you know if you want to go on it again or not.
Actually, I was thinking a different thing. So sometimes, I've actually heard of schools that actually go on field trips to amusement parks because there are opportunities to learn about how was that amusement park made and how do the roller coasters work. So I'd say that was something informational.
Take down.
That's with the no.
Okay, I just want to say one more thing.
That was
You may be
amazing thing, Advik. Yes, amusement park with its architecture, how it is made, how it works, functions. Excellent point.
By the way, one more thing is that in amusement parks, you may not be learning anything, but at least you're not being cruel and holding animals captive.
I'm telling you, they're not holding animals captive. They're
That's
just
exactly what they're doing.
they're taking
Yeah.
Okay, at some
No,
point that is
let me tell you, they're taking the animals to care for them, then putting them back for the environment.
Arushi's right. They don't take them.
Yeah,
forever.
They don't
get
just
them
take the
back.
animals like, yup, you're mine.
Yeah, they don't take them like randomly. Like, hey, come on, you're coming.
The
with me
only
now.
stuff they take is endangered and wounded animals mostly.
Like on my side, I was standing next to a tiger. That's an Indian tiger that's an endangered, and they're trying to save it by raising it and then putting it back in the wild. So
Tell me one thing. I have one question for you.
Okay.
But this entire time, they're just using the fact that the tiger is in pain and just throwing it in a cage. And yes, they're taking care of the tiger. It's not like they're starving the tiger.
okay. 1 second.
They're not starving the tiger, but still.
It's not.
Is the tiger happy?
First
Is
of
the
all,
tiger
Tiger
happy?
is happy. Can't you see him? He's sleeping peacefully.
And it's not
If you
called-
search it up in Google, it says that it says that animals can be as happy in zoos as in the wild.
Yeah, and adding on.
Even more happy. If monkeys get boxes to shred and balls to
So they
play.
make their natural habitat in the zoo, so it doesn't really make such a big difference. And it's not like they're putting the animal in a cage because
It's not a war.
Here's one more thing.
It isn't prison.
What if baby monkeys are separated from their parents?
They're not though.
that's the reason why they bring the family with them. Because
Okay, fine. And one last
They don't
question.
bring the whole family. They always
that's why
bring either the mother. They always have to bring the mother. That's the
mother
that's
and the
rule.
parents. But the thing
Yeah, okay. Let me tell you one last question.
second, the thing is,
What
you
is it?
never
What is it?
only-
Wait, Ritvika, what is it?
I mean,
My last question. those monkeys, the adult ones, they have lived in that habitat their entire life. And when they're wounded, they get put in a cage with their habitat. And it's like very small. Do
Let me
you
tell you.
not think that they'll miss the natural habitat? They will really understand
Artificial
that it's the
Wait,
habitat.
an artificial one. They
The
have
first few days they might, but after that they get used to it and they'll be happy.
it's like moving into a
They get used to it. That's what they need to do. Why do they need to change their lives for us?
Christy, wait.
That's my question.
Christy, it's not for us. They're not pulling them captive for us.
Ananya, wait 1 sec.
Wait, Kriti, they're doing this because even in the zoo, in Detroit Zoo, they don't keep them in cages. They're literally free to go, but they know that they're gonna be fed and everything, so they don't leave. They're not even in like a secure area.
they're
just
in a glass cage.
No, some monkeys aren't. They're just on a wall, in like a wall. So are bears.
Okay, so I'm sure this is like a huge debate around the world, but it's a very hard debate, honestly. So, is there any other questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Why don't we take a vote on who supports the zoos and who supports the
one thing, Kriti, have you ever thought of this? Do you like moving?
No, I really don't actually.
And you move because your parents are moving for something else, right?
Exactly.
That's the exact same thing with animals.
Yeah, like, do you think that they'll just leave all their friends and like, I mean, yes, they're going with their parents and we go with our parents too, but let's say you made a really good friend in Michigan, which is where I'm living right now. And yeah, like I have this really good friend in Michigan and I have like a complete connection with her and I just go move away somewhere else. Do you think I'll be happy about it?
Animals,
That's just.
but do you get used to it? Do you get used to it? Do you get
At some point, yes, but will I be happy about it initially? No.
Are you happy about it right now? If it's been weeks after the move, you're not gonna be around the house saying, I didn't want to move. I didn't want to move. You accept that you move and then
in fact you could. It's not
Okay,
like
because we are running out of time. I mean, an excellent debate going on, and I like how you guys are thinking. You are questioning each other, and that's what is the spirit of Let Us Talk It. This platform is all about. So I'm so glad about the topic and how it is opening up the thought processes and each and everyone's logic. And last one that Ishan said, it was amazing. And yes, Kriti, you were also right that getting used to it's not easy, but still things have to be the way it is. So, but we are running out of time. Any last thought from anyone which is different, which has not been discussed? Someone might have thought that, okay, I had this point or I wanted to share and I did not get a chance. Anything like that about amusement park or zoo?
I have one. Is
Go
that
ahead.
if it's a very good topic, you should thank Kajri because she actually made the topic.
No,
Yeah, absolutely.
I made it.
No, first, Kajri got the idea of zoos, and then you built it off it.
Yeah, Ananya and Kashvi. We both actually Ananya first came with up with it, and then Kashvi joined. It's like at the end, I would again say it's a team effort together. So we are really proud of you all as you work as a team, and then you present so beautifully. So any other thoughts from anyone else?
I just wanted to say that zoos, actually some zoos, they take the endangered species and they actually like make sure that it's okay, it's fine before releasing it into the wild. So they only isolate it for like a little bit so that it can feel better and do like mating so that they can get like more of the same breed, and then they release it into the wild, just in case anyone had any questions related to that.
I have something to say too. Quickly. So also there was this like story that I read about this koala who actually when she was in the wild, like because of some fight and all this stuff, like her arm, like the koala's arm was like cut off by like an animal that bit off its arm. So like yeah, the koala didn't have her arm, and then so she was moved to a zoo and they were able to help her, and yeah, now she's all fine and she's working in the wild and she's all good. So like they helped, and then they released her back to the wild. So like they help them and then they put them back into the wild. It's not like they're holding them for a long period of time, or it's just for them to help them.
Correct.
I have to add on that is that they don't use the animals for money. They actually want to help them. They just take the money so other people can see what they're doing.
And
Yeah.
they have to maintain the zoo also, feed
have to
them,
feed the
create the
animals.
yes, to take care of the animals. So yes, absolutely, we have to end the session. We can have a part 2 of this sometime later, but it's very important to know that yes, there are, as in everything in life, everything has its pros and cons. So does zoo and amusement park. It's our choice. It's only when if the zoos were available and amusement parks weren't, we would not know the difference, right? So everything is important, but we should not go too far, having too many animals in the zoo. Maybe those which are required, if they can come there, and those who need to be in the wild are left in the wild. And the amusement park, if people do not get overboard with like absolutely a heart breaking and heart wrenching rather rides and all of that. Yes, everything in balance is wonderful. So with that thought, we end this session today. Thank you everyone for joining in. If you have any question, you can always email us at webinar@LetUsTalkIt.com. Thank you everyone. Bye and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.